Yo, what up everybody? All right, so this is going to be the third video of a series of 3 of brake maintenance on my 2012 Kawasaki Vulcan 900. However, like I said before, even though this is bike specific, the fundamentals applies to all bikes. So in my previous videos, if this is the first video you landed on, basically I changed the front brake pads, cleaned out the calipers, all that good stuff, and then I changed out the brake fluid. While I'm doing that, I might as well clean out the brake fluid too, where I bleed the brakes and all that other good stuff. So this is the third step, is that since I have new pads, I have to bed them in or break them in, whatever you want to choose. And there's an actual process depending on the type of brake pads you have. Okay, whether it's centered, which is mostly metallic, semi-centered, which is what I have, which is a combination of organic and metal fused together, and or then of course the other part is straight organic. There's different processes, and if you look on the internet like I did, you got it. It looks like it's a lot of preference on how to do it. Some say start at 30, then scrub down to 5 miles an hour, you know, like 8 to 10 times. And then another one is to go up to 60 miles an hour immediately, go down to 5 miles an hour, do that 8 to 10 times, and then go 45 miles an hour 8 to 10 times, and all this other stuff. Well, and the whole thing is all of them consistently across the board say do not stop. Now there's a reason why you do not want to stop. This is why I'm front loading this information up front, is that when you stop and your brakes compress against the rotors or the discs and they stop, what happens is that there's like, you know, there's material and chemicals that sweat out, so to say, your brake pads, and what happens, it causes an imprint like on your pads, and it stays there. And what happens is you go on, it will cause an inconsistency and a high spot, and it will cause some kind of coefficient like friction and instability and imbalance and all that good stuff, or bad stuff. And that's what you have to do it. So you have to find yourself a stretch of road around town that you can go and do your process without stopping. Okay, so there's one method I really like, because I'm going to be on city streets. I live in the city, I don't live out in the country, and I don't have straightaways, so I don't really have that luxury. As you tell, I had cars kind of going in. I just picked this one street, this spot, to kind of start going on. So the method I'm going to use is 30 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour, and 50 miles an hour, where I'm going to slow down to 5 miles an hour and then repeat that 5 to 10 times each. First one is lightly stopping. That's the warm-up phase. I'm going to have a moderately aggressive phase, and then I'm going to have aggressive braking. So without further ado, let's get started. Here we go. So I'm at 30 miles an hour, and now I'm going to brake down to 5 lightly. Here we go. Now I'm going to move on. There we go. That was rep 1. I have to do that 5 to 10 times. So, and they said what you should do is that you probably want to cool your brakes off in between each heat cycle. A heat cycle is a braking cycle, okay? So I'm going to let it cool off for a bit. I'm at 30 miles an hour. Here we go. All right, so 30, lightly braking. It's also good to do this in a neighborhood that doesn't have a lot of traffic. Got a car behind me. Okay, there we go. Okay, that was 5. Cool. Oh, you had to use my rear brake. But it looks like everything's stopping really nicely after my brake fluid change. So that's good. Got good pressure. Here we go. Because what I'm trying to prevent is glazing. If you don't know what glazing is when you, like I said, there's like those aramid oils and all this other stuff that comes off of it. It's like chemical gassing. And it creates a glaze on your rotors and on your brakes, and it really reduces the performance of your brakes. So they basically become like shiny pottery. So you want to try and avoid that. So how you do that is by proper braking. Here we go. So we're riding a little bit, it's cooling down. It's 30, 20, 10, 5. Cool. Let up off the brakes. I'm not like totally like off the brakes, you know. Squeeze, release, slow and continuous. So that was about 7 times, I think. Anyways, all right, moving on. Now, just to let you know, I do smell something, okay, like smoke or something burning. That's my new brakes burning off a lot of that manufacturing chemicals, okay, a lot of the composition compounds I told you are going to leach out. And I'm trying to cool off the brakes between each heat cycle. Well, just letting you know, if you smell smoke or something burning, it's probably your brakes, but that's normal, okay? That's why you want to not stop and leave that imprint on your brakes. Cool. Here's the other thing. Since if you live in the city like I do, I'm not going to slow down, and if I'm not going to stop at the red light with using my front brake. So either you pop it in neutral or use the rear brake if you didn't change those out, right? See, front brakes aren't engaged. So there you go. Gives you practice on how to use that rear brake too, huh? Trail braking with your rear brake and all this other stuff. So what I'm going to do is I actually did my 10 heat cycles, okay, at 30 miles an hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drive around a little while, give a chance my rotors and everything like that to cool off and all that good stuff. I'm right now just letting you know what I'm doing too is I'm feeling out, because remember I did take the caliper off, clean it in my prior video, change the brake pads. So I'm trying to see if I have any lag, anything weird like drag, lag, shimming that I didn't have before. Since I bled the brakes, I'm looking to see if I have good control, no sponginess, which is indicative of having, you know, like air bubbles in your lines, all that good stuff. So far, everything looks really good. So it's just a matter of just scrubbing in my my new brakes. See how I'm slowing down using my rear brakes, trail braking with my rear tire. Check this out. Woo! Oop, I need to add some throttle. Still need my right hand. Okay, so I'll go drive around a little bit. Here we go. So I'm going to start my first heat cycle on 40 miles an hour. So there we go, 40. To start braking a little bit more aggressively, which I'm doing, to about 5 miles an hour. There we go. That's one. Cool. So I'm going to drive up a little bit, get some air in between. Look, see, I'm braking with my rear tire so because I don't want to leave an imprint. There you go. But I'm going to continue this on. Okay, I'm at 40 miles an hour. I'm going to use this light in this corner to do my heat cycle using the front brake primarily. There you go, 5 miles an hour, moving on. If I need to use my rear brake, I will. There we go. Cool. I just wanted to take a corner just to kind of, if you guys like say, oh man, what are we going to do? You know, what happens if you get 40 miles an hour? Like right now, here we go, got 40. So I got this, heat cycle down, slowing down. Cool. There you go. Now I'm at a stop sign. I'm using all rear brake. It's like doing the slow race. Kind of cool. There we go. All right, so I'm about to do my final 40 mile an hour heat cycle or a break-in run. So what is the purpose of bedding in anyway? Well, your pads are already coming, you know, flat from the factory, and your rotor, if it's used like mine, you know, there's, you know, it's not a brand new rotor or brake disc. It has ridges in it, and if you have a flat surface against some ridges, hold on a second, let me brake right quick. There you go. Flat ridges in it, what happens is you're not getting the maximum surface contact patch or surface on your rotors, so you're not going to have a full effectiveness. So what this bedding in does, it allows the imperfections, the hills and valleys of that's in your rotor to start being filled in or your brake pad's starting to conform to that, so you get more contact area. That's why as your pads get broken into, you'll notice that your responsiveness of your pads will get better. And new pads seem to really suck at stopping. Like when I first started this run, oh yeah, I felt like they didn't have the grip or the bite like my older pads did. Does that make sense? So that's the whole reason why you're breaking them in. I think I'm almost down to my last heat cycle here. There we go. I'm not smelling as much gassing off like I did before. That was my last one. That was my 10th heat cycle at 40 miles an hour. I'm going to drive around, let it cool off a little bit. Then I'm going to go ahead and do the next step, which is 50 miles an hour. And I like that method because that's more, you know, lawfully and legally you could do around town, you know, without causing much of a hazard or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like this right here, you know, this straightaway is like 50 miles an hour, I think, or 45. So you're good. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I have to do more aggressive braking. So I'm going to drive around, ride around a little bit first, get everything cooled down, set myself up. So either way, this is fun. I'm out on my bike practicing my you know, my braking abilities and control and all that good stuff, and then we'll go from there. 50 miles an hour, cool. There we go. Start braking a little bit more aggressively now without locking up my tire. To 50 miles an hour without stopping. There we go. Nice. That was number one. I like it a lot. Okay. There we go. 9 more of those. Now, another thing you could do, I just thought about this, is if you don't want to stop completely because you're worried about your pads making contact with the discs or rotors, friction zone, keep rocking back and forth so that you're actually never stopped. Does that make sense? And then keep going from there so you don't have to touch any brakes. Okay, I'm at 50. Aggressive braking. Here we go. I got somebody behind me, but that's okay. I'm pulling off the side of the road. I'm not stopping. Cool. Clear. Nice. Got cars behind me now. There we go. That's what? 2. So 8 more. All right. So here we go. This is going to be my 10th and final heat cycle for 50 miles an hour, 5 to 10 times. Just got through doing one back there. I'm just going to go ahead and use this straightaway to kind of cool down the rotor, the brake, you know, basically the disc, brake discs. There you go. Well, I'm getting tongue-tied. And the pads. There we go. It's a really nice day too. Not too bad. It's like 74 degrees or stuff like that. So it's actually kind of nice and mild. So it's going to be my last one. And aggressive braking to 5 miles an hour. There we go. Nice. There we go. All right, everybody. Well, that was the last of it. That was the last heat cycle. I'm basically going to go back to my garage, park the bike, and I'm done for today. I'm not going to ride around anymore. I'm just going to let everything cool off and hang out. Now for the next, what depends on the literature you saw, if you see in the internet, it's anywhere from 200 to 400 miles after this. Is you just take it easy, no real aggressive braking, and just let your brakes just settle in, and until you'll notice an improvement as it goes on. They'll finally settle in. So that's what I'm going to do. If you got anything from this video, please like, share, and of course smash that subscribe button, and I would totally appreciate that. And until next time, peace.